Hey everybody, welcome to episode 105 of the Building a Law Firm podcast. I'm your host, Christopher Small, and this is the internet's most passionate show about building a law firm, as the name implies. Hope you guys are having a great day, week, month, quarter, life, everything, right? Today, we are here. It's March 27th, I think. It's the end of the quarter almost. And so, typically at this time of the year, I like to do a little bit of a quarterly review. I like to look back on, what my original goals were, if I was able to accomplish those goals, what's going right with the firm right now, what's going wrong, what are the things that I wish I could change or that I fell short on, what are the things that I want to do better on, and that kind of stuff. So this is going to be sort of a two-parter. Part one today is really going to be the review, and then part two, which will come out next on Thursday, is going to be the looking forward, like what are my Q2 goals. And I've got some interesting stuff to talk about in both of these episodes, so I'm kind of excited about it. So in looking back on the quarter, a lot of things happened well. I hired an attorney to work for me. I hired a paralegal that's going to be starting for me full-time pretty soon. The one that had already been working for me. The revenue was good. It was my best quarter ever, although I didn't meet my goal for the year as broken down in quarters, which is okay. It happens. But in looking back, some things went right. Some things just didn't go that well. And part of that is just a function of the way that my business runs right now. But in looking back, I feel like I wasted a lot of time. And I feel like I wasted a lot of time doing things that I shouldn't be doing. And I think a lot of us fall into this category. I thought a lot of us fall into this problem, this habit, this fear. And it's what I really wanted to spend a lot of the time working on, talking about. And I'm going to talk more about this on Thursday in the Infinity Clients Workshop training that I do. So I'm just going to give you a little bit of taste of what I've really been doing and thinking about and how this all breaks down so that you can start to work on it yourself. One of the things that I think it's important to do is to really track your time, not in the sense of billing clients or sort of working it into an equation for money, but to really just see what you are spending your time working on. And when I do this, when I look back and see where I'm spending my time, I see that I'm just wasting a significant amount of time on things that I just should not be doing on a daily basis. That's one of the reasons why I'm bringing on my paralegal full time, is because I want her to be able to take some of those things. But another thing about it is that I'm just not clear on what I want out of my firm. I'm not clear on what I want out of my life. I'm not clear on what I want out of my day, out of my week, out of my month. And all that translates into a certain amount of wasted effort and energy and inefficiency. And it's not, so to sort of back up a little bit and piggyback off of this, it's not, your life shouldn't always be about efficiency and maximizing your time, but what it really should be about is making sure that you are able to do the things that you want to be able to do the things that are important to you, to live the life that you want to live. And figuring that out can be a difficult process. It takes a little bit of time because you actually have to sort of decide what you actually want. You have to actually sort of write it down and think about it and think about how you can make it real. Block off your time to figure out how that all works together, and then actually execute on that vision, which presents its own set of difficulties. So that's what I've been spending the last couple of days doing, is really sort of thinking about what happened this quarter, what I didn't accomplish, what I did accomplish, and how I can make it better. And I can tell you, just looking back, I think working on processes and procedures is always going to be a work in progress, But you really see how deficient everything is when you bring new people on and you try to plug them in, and it doesn't go smoothly as you want. And that is something that I wish would have been better for Q1. Another thing that I wish would have been better for Q1 was just to execute on the things that I wanted to get done. It's funny how little I actually got done of the things that I wanted to do. And part of that was that this day-to-day just jumps in the way, things happen, and you end up just putting projects off over time. I did get a couple of things done, but I'm nowhere near where I want to be. And I'm planning on making Q2 a place where at least a few of those things happen. And I'll tell you too, so I know I'm jumping around here. The reason for that is I don't really have a script on these, and I'm just kind of talking and free flowing and letting you know what my thoughts are. And a lot of this for me, and I had this conversation yesterday with one of my coaching clients, and until you really know what you want your day to look like and how you want it to be structured, until you know that framework and have that vision, it's really hard to execute and make that happen. And I hadn't really done that on a granular level and done it in a way that it actually reflects what I want. So, for example, one of the things that I really wish I would have done over this Q1 is stick to a morning routine and really focus on the things that are important to me and focus on the things that I know will help move everything forward. I had some moments of laziness. I had some moments of I don't know. It's really all just laziness, lack of motivation. I don't think those are the same thing. Some melancholy, right? But I think this happens to everybody. But when you work in these habits and you create these these habits, I said habits for yourself, then that can help to sort of stem the tide of some of that stuff. For all of you out there that don't have kids, I feel like you have no excuse, by the way. And I'm not using my kids as an excuse, but they wake up early, right? They need my time, and they're my number one priority. So I always make time for them and for my wife, obviously at the same time. So there's just a certain amount of organization that's required from me to be able to get everything done that I want in every aspect of my life. And in Q1, I just didn't do a really great job of managing that. And in reflecting on that, that's something I wish I would have done better. And I think that for all of you, it's that type of reflection that's going to help you move forward the fastest. You may not have the same issues or problems or sort of shortcomings that I have, but unless you sort of try to take a step back and see what actually happened in reality, and that means looking at where you spend your time and how you made your money and all these things, then you're not going to be able to, get to where you want to go, right? So that's one of the things that I think I kind of fell short on in Q1. Another thing, to be quite frank, I feel like I did wrong was I don't think I charged enough for my fees. I'm in the process of raising those a little bit, and part of that was just trying to find the right value proposition to feel comfortable doing that. Part of it was me just being scared to do that. But if you provide a great service, you should be happy to charge a good fee, and that's going to happen for me now in the future as well. The other thing, I think a place that I fell short was in a lot of my marketing efforts. I have these big plans and these big goals and these big marketing plans that I want to implement, and I just didn't get around to a bunch of it, quite frankly. So I still, like I said, I still did have my best quarter ever, and I think that there's something to be said for that, and I'm proud of that, but I want to be better. I want this firm to be great, and I want to create a business that thrives. So that's really what we're working on. All right, so that's kind of Q1 review. I think it's pretty good. Next show we're going to talk about Q2, looking forward, some of the things I'm going to work on. kind of break down a little bit of what I've been doing in these exercises to try to make everything moving forward better. And I can tell you one thing that I think it's important to point out is that, Q2 is still technically like a week away, 5 days away, right? But I'm not waiting until April 1st to start implementing these changes, right? I'm doing them today. And I want to encourage you to do the same thing. Don't wait a week to start that exercise program or to start calling on those potential referral sources. Do that today. Stop putting off to tomorrow what you can do today. All right, that is it. Hopefully you enjoyed this episode, and I'll be back to talk to you again soon. See ya.